Pulse check on the Kansas Jayhawks. I think they need one. We've got Riley Davis from Heat Check CVB here. I'm GregWaddell from Sleepers Media. And Kansas comes away with a 71-63 victory over Eastern Illinois. Eastern Illinois, let's be clear about this, not a good basketball team, not even a bad basketball team, Riley. They're a horrible basketball team. This team is 344th on KenPom coming into this game. They are going to rise a little bit after this performance, but look through their schedule up and down. They've had stinkers. They played Illinois tough for 20 minutes. They lost by 28 points. This is a team that lost to Loyola Chicago by 24 points. This is not a good basketball team. And they were down 3 points with 3 minutes left in this game against Hunter Dickinson, who played great offensively tonight, and the rest of this Kansas roster. What did you see tonight?
I'm still caught up on the fact that Eastern Illinois, that they're this bad and we're 39-point underdogs and had this game within 3 with 3 minutes to go. Greg, I know you're not a Taylor Swift guy. You famously told me 2 days ago that you ignore all text Taylor Swift related. But if you look at Eastern Illinois' KenPom page, it's all red. It's a Taylor Swift album right there. Everything is in the red. Offense, defense, it does not matter. This team is awful. Like you hit on it. They beat Coppin State by 2 points. I covered Coppin State for the Almanac. Coach is a great dude, but he's in his first year relying on 10 freshmen, all unheralded, and 2 transfers who both averaged less than 2 points a game at their prior stops. Coppin State very well might be the worst team in the country. Eastern Illinois squeaked by them on a neutral. The fact that I'm still just in disbelief that they gave Kansas this game. It's some of the same stories we saw all year. I know you'll probably want to talk on Hunter's performance, but it's just another no-show performance from guards. DeJuan Harris had 9 assists, but only took 4 shots. Nick Timberlake played 11 minutes. In my opinion, that's if Nick Timberlake's only getting 11 minutes against an Ohio Valley opponent, is he even going to be in the rotation come conference play? And he was one of their big transfer portal sightings and was, we both heard murmurs of his NIL numbers, and that was something that he was looking for. Maybe actually, I don't want to speak on something that I've just heard murmurs about, but he commanded decent NIL numbers being thrown around him, and he was being recruited by more big name schools than just Kansas. And he's just looking like a flop right now.
Yeah, we love murmurs on this program, just for the record. It was a high number. I can confirm those murmurs. By the way, nice Taylor Swift reference for the record. I'd like to fire back one of my own Taylor Swift references. When it comes to Hunter Dickinson and me, we are never, ever, ever getting back together. I can tell you that right now. Look, I've seen this game 1,000 times. I've seen Hunter Dickinson lose this game before. I've seen him win it sometimes. This was every non-conference game for Michigan last season. And look, Kansas is way better than Michigan this year, despite these struggles. I'm not saying I'm better off without Hunter Dickinson. My team would be way better if he had remained in Ann Arbor. But there are serious limitations to Hunter Dickinson's game and to building an entire team around Hunter Dickinson that let worse teams hang in games as long as they have players that can attack him and put him in pick and roll situations. I've seen it 1,000 times. And the entire second half of this game, that's all they did. They made Hunter get out on the perimeter and move his feet. He can't move his feet. He literally can't. So either they were getting a blow-by layup or the help side came over and they got a kick out to a wide open shooter. It happened over and over and over again. And give Eastern Illinois credit. They hit shots in this game. They hit 9 threes. That definitely helped. Kansas didn't hit shots in this game. I've been speculating, when is the shooting going to stop? Because coming into this game, Kansas was shooting 40% from 3 on the season, 11th in the country. And I just don't think their guards are that good of shooters. I know they've been shooting it that well. I think they're more like the caliber shooter that we saw tonight, which was a team that made 3 threes in 14 attempts, 13 attempts outside of Hunter Dickinson. So I think this is a pretty large red flag. I know sometimes you have a blip game, it's after the holiday, whatever. It's that sleepy time of the season. But there are serious holes with this roster. And one of the largest holes for me is one of their 3 good players. DeJuan Harris cannot go 0 for 4 from the floor with 1 point anymore in a game like this. It was okay to do that when you had Jalen Wilson and Grady Dick. It's not okay to do that when you look down next to you in the backcourt and see Marco Jackson and Johnny Furphy and Parker Brown. Like, that's a disaster.
I'm with you, man. Like, even looking at this roster, I'm like, how do the Jayhawks have wins over Tennessee and Kentucky? Like, they're gonna get some Q1 wins because they play in the Big 12. Those are two marquee Q1 wins in the non-con. Like, they're gonna still find a way to get a pretty high March seed, but like, I just can't see this team going far long term. Even with Marco Jackson, like I saw him as a first round on an NBA big board today, and he's giving you 5 points against Eastern Illinois. Like, these are the games where with both him and Timberlake and Furphy to a lesser extent, you want to be able to have enough of a cushion to where you're able to let them shine a little bit, that you're able to give them more of a feature role or let them be the guy for stretches like in the second half or something and get them going, get something to build off of. For me, if I was a Kansas fan, that would be what I'm most disappointed about. Furphy only got 14 minutes this game. You want to see him over 20 if he's who we think he is as like a legit NBA prospect. Even if he's not there yet, he's supposed to be one eventually within the next 2 to 3 years. Yeah, like you said, roster construction issues, they abound. No guard depth, unsustainable shooting through the first part of the season, and they got to play UConn soon, which if they have an effort like this, it could be the rare game where Kansas gets blown out. Yeah, it's rough.
I got the bad news for you. Johnny Furphy is not who people thought he was. Like, maybe he will 3 months from now. I don't know. Guys take leaps over the course of the season, but like the state that this Kansas team is in right now, they're in it because every guy that's not Hunter Dickinson or Kevin McCullough or DeJuan Harris is not who Bill Self hoped they would be to start the season. Marco Jackson is not ready to start a shooting guard on this team. Johnny Furphy can barely give you serious minutes right now. Nick Timberlake is a disaster. Jamari McDowell shouldn't be in the rotation, but he is in the rotation because all the other guys aren't ready. So we're going to have to keep doing this because these guys are who they are to me. And until somebody makes elite, then we can praise them clearly. But Hunter Dickinson is not good enough to elevate all those other guys. That's not even a critique of Hunter, because it's okay for Hunter to be who he is, which is one of the 5 best offensive players in the country, a guy who any given night can score 35 and beat you. But he's never been a guy who elevates mediocre players into something more. He has too many limitations for that. And here he is on another roster with a bunch of mediocre players. Do you have some words for Nick Timberlake? I know we speculated on his NIL, but it was cardio Nick tonight.
It was cardio Nick tonight, man. He was running around there, took only 2 threes. Like, I don't know, at least find a way to get some more shots up, Nick. You're a career 40% shooter, and you're supposed to have more than that to you. Like, I saw the Towson highlights. I saw him dunking on dudes in traffic. Like, yeah, that's not going to necessarily translate to the Big 12, but again, this is an Ohio Valley team. Maybe he just needs a new barber. Like, is it really that simple? Like, the man looks like
God. So I was watching him jog up and down in one sequence. I think it was after he picked up a charge or a turnover. They called it a travel or something. And the camera just panned to him and he was jogging down with like this whiny look on his face. And I was like, I feel like he's 20% Grady Dick and 80% Yusuf Kayet. That's not good. Like, that's just not a good mix. To me, I know we're not supposed to say this man's name. Maybe I can do the whole redacted bit that we do. This team has a redacted sized hole on it in the backcourt. And that was a guy who was supposed to be here. And 2 weeks before the season is not here. So maybe that's who we should be pointing the fingers at and not Bill Self, because he thought he had an additional guard that probably would be ready to play, by the way. Redacted was ready to play, even if we didn't love his game. So, oh boy, it's been a while since I've gotten my juices up on a Hunter Dickinson team struggle. Riley, can you tell I'm a little excited, a little enthused?
Greg, would you say that you remember these types of Hunter games?
Oh yeah.
Would you say that you were there?
I was there.
Would you say that you remember it all too well?
I remember it all too well. God Riley Davis from Heat Check CVB. I'm Greg Waddell from Sleepers Media. We'll be here to recap and preview every big game of the college basketball season. And spoiler alert, that means pretty much every Kansas game the rest of the season, especially if they keep playing out like this. Good luck, Jayhawks fans. Rock chalk. We'll see you next time.